Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of the Daily Cannon Tactics Board. Stephen Bradley here bringing you the tactical tweaks and quirks that came from Arsenal's return to form, thankfully, in a comprehensive 3-0 win over Southampton this afternoon. Arteta made a lot of ballsy calls this afternoon and they all paid off for him, and boy did he need them to after disappointing losses to Everton and Manchester United over the last 7 days. And over the course of this episode I'll show you exactly what those calls are, or indeed weren't, and explain how Arsenal were able to break through Southampton's press and basically walk all over them from there. If this ends up being a video that you enjoy, please feel free to hit the like button. If you did see something in the game that I didn't, comment down below. A lot of people enjoy, indulging in a bit of tactical discussion. Some people think I'm really good. As you'll see in the comments, some people don't think I'm that good at all, but it's football, what can you do? And if you want these videos in your inbox on a regular basis, hit subscribe, hit the little bell beside it, and you'll be notified every time I upload a video. So, yeah, an Arsenal win. Hey, for once. Get to actually be happy and talking about this once. But the big cause, like I said at the start of the video, when I said that Mikel Arteta made ballsy calls, he made two of them. And the first one was to tell his captain to get stuffed. We found out Friday that Aubameyang wasn't going to be in the squad, and a couple of articles, suggested that maybe he was sick, maybe he had an illness, blah blah blah. And we're like, well, okay, maybe he's just been, he didn't play against Everton, maybe he's being rested. And then we found out 2:00 Saturday, nope, he's not being rested. It's a disciplinary cause, and he's been dropped. Yay! And we're like, oh no, here we go again. Now, to be fair, the last time Arteta did this, Arsenal went out and beat Tottenham. So, he's at least consistent with this. If someone does, break one of his non-negotiables, then he drops you. So it's hard. You can't call him inconsistent on this. And if he's going to do it to the captain, he's going to do it to anyone, which at least sets a standard. But maybe more ballsy than that was the fact that this team here is the same team he picked against Everton. And if you saw my last video, you saw how vehemently in disagreement I was with that selection. In the fact that I didn't think Xhaka was given enough support by the fact that Tierney was picked instead of Tavares. And one of those situations where I didn't think the team suited itself. And for him to go back to that exact team again and go, right lads, I told you how to do it the last time, you didn't do it, it's your fault, go out there and prove me wrong. And they did. And it's one of those ones where you're like, okay, a victory was well needed, but performance was needed even more, and they delivered both. And it wasn't without its little scares. And even the goal itself nearly produced a heart attack to about 20,000 people in the stands. But it was a performance that showed that Arteta is at least confident in the fact that his team is going to play the way he wants it to, once it gets a bit of confidence doing so. And nothing illustrated that more than the first 15 minutes of the game, because Southampton were on top. It's Southampton, under Ralph Hasenhüttl, plays a very Mike Bassett-y 4-4 bleeping 2, and their operating system is very simple. It's we're going to press up, we're going to make sure that you get no space on the ball, and we're going to run, and it's basically going to be almost 11 on 11. We're going to make sure there's a body on everyone, and we're not going to give you space, and we're not going to give you time. And for 15 minutes, Arsenal found it difficult to get the ball into here. They found it easy enough getting it to Saka. And Saka, got in here after a minute, and if he had a little bit better control at the time, he might have created a better chance. But first minute, early in the game, a little bit cold, but after that, it was Southampton who were able to get the ball into these areas here, behind Xhaka and behind Partey, with a little bit more ease than Arsenal did. And Arsenal found themselves under a little bit of pressure. Ramsdale was screaming at his back four to push up, because what was happening in the first 15 minutes of this game was exactly what happened in the second half against Everton. The team just found itself dropping back and dropping back and dropping back. And Ramsdale from the back and Arteta from the side were screaming at the team, push up. Get up the field. Get up the field. Stop letting Southampton push you back. You've got to push up further. And they did that for two reasons. One, just to give themselves a bit of space, just so, again, to push Southampton's press back and to try and get on the ball themselves and try and create a little bit. And for 15 minutes, it didn't really work. But in the other sense, it was to invite Southampton onto them when Arsenal had a kick out. Because when Southampton are pinned back, when Arsenal have a kick out, a goal kick, it encourages Southampton to push up themselves, to go, right, we're going to do this back to you. And keep the ball in your side of the pitch, because that's what we want to do. So, Odegaard would be here, Bednarak would go to him, Stevens would go to here, Livramento would push on Martinelli, Kyle Walker-Peters pushes up, and they try and just compress the pitch. It's not rocket science, everyone does it. But Arsenal's whole game plan from a goal kick is to invite you onto them because they want to catch you on a counter-attack from their own goal kick. I know, sounds a little bit counterintuitive. You want to catch them on a counter-attack on your goal kick. And it's like, yes. And their first goal is exactly how you do it. Because Southampton overcommitted. And they spent, 5-10 seconds passing the ball around, getting Redmond to come to Tierney, getting Taya to come to Gabriel, getting Armstrong to come to White, getting Borhead to come to Tomiyasu. And you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 on 6 should be even enough. And that's why Ramsdale is key. Because in Ramsdale, they have someone with the confidence and just the dogged determination to do what he's told to, no matter what the situation. So he becomes the spare man. He will stand here. Obviously, I can't move the goalkeeper because thanks, basic software, what can you do? But Ramsdale becomes the seventh man and stands here, where I'm, wiggling my cursor here. And what it does is he becomes the spare man. And by knocking it around, by giving it to Ramsdale, it gives these lads a chance. It goes, look, come in on me. I want you to overcommit. I want you to get here so that I can give the ball to White and White's off. That's what I want you to do. I want to try and create an overlap. And they did it, but they did it. And the person who overcommitted wasn't Taya, it wasn't Armstrong, it wasn't Redmond, it wasn't any of these. These guys did their job. The man who screwed up was Mr. Kyle Walker-Peters, because he panicked. Because Gabriel got the ball to get Ramsdale, Armstrong pressed, Ramsdale gets it to White, Borja presses, and he gets to Tomiyasu. Now, again, Tomiyasu has the ball here. It's kind of dangerous, but what you're supposed to do as midfielders in this position, you do this. You make sure that they've no ball. So that the only thing Tomiyasu can do is either try and knock it long over here, to which you hope your centre-backs can cover, or he just knocks it back to White and they try again. And then you come over this side. It's rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. What can happen is the following. Kyle Walker-Peters does this. Because he thinks that Tomiyasu is going to bomb on forward. And he wants to get as touch tight as possible. And Tomiyasu feints him, gets the ball to Saka, and suddenly now it's 3-on-4. And it's uh-oh. And Diallo tries to get back, and Saka bombs on, and he doesn't go immediately in. He does the right thing. He keeps right. He keeps as far right as possible, because what he wants to do, he wants to encourage these to get back as quickly as possible. Obviously, Tomiyasu is bombing on forward, Partey's getting there, Xhaka trundles on, Tierney gets there as well. Martinelli and Lacazette and Odegaard are bombing on. And what Saka wants to do, he wants them to get back here. Because he's not going to cross the ball in here. He's going to do what happened at Manchester United and what happened at Everton. He's going to cut it back. And the back line overcommits again. Saka cuts it back. Lacazette's free. It's a 12-yard tap in, and he puts it in the top corner. It's 1-0. And after that, the game's over. The game is over because now Southampton have to come forward. Now, yes, they're trying to press, but they're also pressing with, a very deep line. They're not giving Lacazette, Martinelli any room to do their swaps. They're just letting them, basically just standing in front of them and going, we don't care. Which means Odegaard gets a lot of room because Ward-Prowse and Boya are focused on Xhaka and Partey. Kyle Walker-Peters, or Diallo, I should say, Boya. It's just one of those things where, because Southampton would switch as well, it's one of those things where Saka, the interchangeability of Saka and Odegaard means that Kyle Walker-Peters can't just sit there because he knows Saka's good enough on his right foot to do there. So he has to come wide. And it's these two in the middle that don't give Southampton the same amount of protection that, ironically, Fred and McTominay do at times at United because they're so deep. They're here. Or what Rafa Benitez did on Monday night against Everton when he had Allen and Doucouré basically be here and here. So that when Arsenal did get the ball out of the press, there was always two people here stopping the run, or two people here stopping the run. And instead of having to beat 6, Arsenal only had to beat 4. And they were beating the 4 and then giving it to Saka, and Saka's got two men on him. And he's like, well, this is not good. And you can see by the heat map, this is Martinelli. Saka's not getting caught, running down dead ends anymore like he was against Everton on Monday. If I even show his heat map, you can see you can see exactly where he's going. It's almost like I said, he gets the ball there instead of here. And he's cutting inside with it. He's not going out wide. He's getting inside the box. And Southampton had no answer for him, being able to get here time and time and time again. And when you've got a midfielder who can do that, that collapses the back line. And then, you've got two defensive midfielders who aren't very good at defensive midfielding. I know that's not a verb, but still. And it just means all of a sudden Martinelli's got a lot of space here because the defence is going over to one side because they're afraid of Saka cutting in on his left. So Arsenal were able to do a better job today of manipulating Southampton into doing what they wanted them to do. But maybe most importantly, the change between today and the last few games, if not the last few months at Arsenal, is that they didn't stop. They kept going. They kept attacking. And the second goal, Martinelli gets in here, Lacazette comes back, but now Tierney is getting on the end of crosses. And look, does Tierney get lucky twice? Yes, he absolutely does. The first time he tries to volley it in, and he ends up actually controlling it under his foot. Second one, he tries to cross it in, bounces off Livramento, goes straight up in the air, and lands back at his feet again. And he gets it in a third time, and this is the difference between the last few games and today, because it's not just there was 3 in the box, it's that there was 4. And with Xhaka and Partey pushing up, there was more of an urgency to get into the box. There was more of an urgency to try and create something, not just by running, but by getting into space. Odegaard gets lucky. It bounces straight to him. If you're Stevenson Benrack, you're going to be very disappointed that you lose, a loose ball in the air to a lad who's 5'10", but you did. And Odegaard rises to the highest, heads it in 2-0. And those are exactly the type of scruffy goals that you need to be scoring if you have any sort of ambition of coming 4th or 5th, because you cannot rely on one move working again and again. You have to take risks, you have to take chances, and over the last while, Arsenal have been too slow in recognising that there was a half chance there. They've been too slow in realising, we might be able to score here, and then reacting. You've got to be proactive with this sort of thing, and the more Odegaard plays, the more Arsenal seem to be willing to make these runs in behind. Just like what happened when Ozil was in his pomp. When you've got a setups like this, you need sometimes a lad to find that ball, in here or in here. And they're hard. They're ridiculously hard. But Ozil was able to find them, and Odegaard on occasion can too. And it's just trying that and having the ability to pass around the back and having a really good crosser of the ball and having someone who can beat someone off the dribble. It's once you become unpredictable, then you're dangerous. If you're predictable, then obviously anyone can set up, make sure you don't make your one move and off you go. As what happened against Manchester United, and especially against Everton, where Benitez quickly realised what we were trying to do, stopped it, and Arsenal went, oh, well, what do we do now? And had no answer for it. Today, Southampton didn't try something similar, and Arsenal were able to fashion a goal from the way they want to play, but Arsenal didn't stop there. That's the difference. Arsenal did not keep just trying to knock it round the back and keep trying to get it down the right. They were trying to do it down the left as well. They were trying to get Martinelli down the bot, who is probably the best left winger now at the club. Like he was able to be, again, it's a Southampton side that aren't in good form, that, don't have the best 11, but Martinelli was doing a great job of just staying wide when obviously his instincts will be to go in there, but you see from his heat map, yes, he's getting inside, but look where he's getting the ball most often, like here. He's trying to drag fullback out of position so that Tierney can get in here and then start throwing in crosses for Lacazette, Odegaard and Saka. It's little things like that Arsenal need to work on doing more consistently, that they need to work on doing even when 1-0 and 2-0 up, because the quality's there. We've seen it. We see it sporadically where Arsenal go 1-0 up and then suddenly stop doing it anymore. They have to remember games like this when they are 1-0 up and they are starting to play it well, then that's the time to go for 2 or 3. And hopefully, fingers crossed, as I knock my phone over, this is going to be a chance for Arteta to walk into a dressing room and go, see, this is the way I want you to play. This is the way you have to play. This is the way you've got to set up. You've got to, have a mindset of being, because, they've got West Ham next. And the race for 4th is pretty much shaping up now to be 4 teams. West Ham, Manchester United, Tottenham, and us. And we've got West Ham on Wednesday. There isn't going to be a better time to get ahead of West Ham than by beating them at home. And hopefully, today's game is the blueprint that will be used. Not just tactically, but mentally. If you did enjoy today's video, please again feel free to hit the like button. If you saw anything in today's game, or if you watch Match of the Day tonight and watch the highlights and you see something, oh Jesus, Stephen didn't talk about that, feel free to leave a comment down below. Again, we've got 1,300 odd subscribers now, which is ridiculous. Like, my aim at the start of this year was, if I could get to 1,000 happy days, and we're way past that. And that's all thanks to you, the subscriber and the viewer. So thank you. And if you do want these videos, if you're not a subscriber, if you do want these videos in your inbox on a regular basis, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell, and you'll know when we're live. And yeah, bring on the irons on Wednesday. Cheers.